Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Booyah podcast. We are officially back, boys. We are officially back. I feel right. It's been 2 months, so I feel like we should probably address the elephant in the room, which is we owe the fans, an explanation. The truth is, I don't really have a great explanation.
We were busy. We had meetings and festivals and Hartford Lives and gigs.
It was summer, so everyone's really busy as a musician in the summer. Just to give you guys some insight into my life, I lost my job, so I was spending a lot of time job hunting. Welcome, Steve.
Buongiorno.
Yeah, so I think I was focusing on that a lot, and then no one else was really taking the charge either because everyone else is so busy. So, anyways, sorry, but we're back, and we have some really exciting guests today. Before we get started, I'm actually learning that it's best to plug things early in a podcast, not wait till the end.
That's smart.
So I'm going to plug some shit right now. The first one is going to be West End Blend and Jelly Halloween party on November 1st here at Arch Street Tavern.
Fuck yeah.
This is West End Blend's only hometown show for 2024. So, yeah, get those. Yeah, I mean, everyone's got to be here. Get those tickets. I'm going to drop the ticket link in the description below.
Guest list, though? Guest list?
Yeah, hit me up for that guest list. I got you.
Everybody DM Sam for guest list.
Yeah, everyone. So, come on out to that, and it's just going to be an awesome show. Our first show with Jelly. We have a really special guest today. Actually, a bunch of special guests.
Wait, can I do a plug?
Yeah.
Wait, when does this come out?
It's going to come out, this week. Tomorrow, probably.
Oh,
yeah.
sick. Okay.
I'm plugging, too.
Yeah. Oh,
So, Clay and I play in a band called Nikita, and we're playing here on Saturday. Saturday.
What's the date?
The 28th.
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 Yep.
Motherfucker.
Headlining show?
Yep.
Yes, we will be playing 2 sets. We have our friend Akeen filling in on drums. He's a fucking sick drummer, and so we also will be digging in and doing a bunch of cool funk and soul covers in addition to the,
That's gonna be really cool.
Usual Nikita repertoire. So it will be awesome, and all of you will be there.
All right, I'm going to drop the ticket link in the description as well.
Drop it.
Get those tickets. Hit up Billy for guest lists. And Steve, what do you got, brother?
November 15th, Balkun Brothers.
Here? Arch Street?
Here, Arch Street.
Fuck yeah.
We're dropping it right now.
Dude.
Rock and roll,
Confirming.
baby.
Man,
Really? With our buddies Bone Church from
Bone
New
Church is
Haven.
sick.
They played with us last time here. It was a rock and roll party.
Bone Church is
Hell
the
yeah.
loudest band I've ever experienced in here.
They're awesome.
And you guys played after Bone Church, and you guys
There's going to be a lot of Marshall amps on stage.
Yeah. Oh, nice Marshall amps.
Exclusively Marshall amps. It's going to be a rocker. Be a good time.
Billy, your brother recorded some Bone Church stuff at Silver Bullet. There you go.
Wow.
Yeah,
There's the connection.
That's my Billy's brother's plug. Right
That's
there.
cool. Hi, Chris. I'm sure you're watching.
So,
on too here.
Tonight, for everyone's reference, tonight we are doing Red Hot Chili Peppers tribute. We literally just got done with sound check and rehearsal. What do you guys think? How do you guys think it went?
We were talking.
Yeah, this was probably the tightest rehearsal we've had in a long time.
It sounds
I'm worried about the gig.
Right, sound check was sick, so I don't know where we can go from there.
I was
Yeah.
like, oh, leave a little in there.
Yeah.
Don't. It's tempting. Don't do it. Don't do it yet. Save that.
Once Sir Psycho, I mean,
Yeah.
you can't hold back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no holding back.
yeah. No, we busted for sure. Yeah.
Well, let's get a little backstory on you, Steve. Just for the people listening, how did you come even into our circle? Even on the drive here, I'm trying to figure out when
it's been deep roots, man. Way back when, West End Blend, Balkun Brothers, and it was Lady Hips and Three Wheeled Funk Circus.
Who was that?
It was Balkun Brothers.
It was that was your
just us.
old band name, right?
Yeah, that was the original band name.
But where did what was can you remember our first show or our first time being on the same bill?
No.
Because I can't.
No.
I can't.
No.
Well, you guys were
Long,
playing here
long.
before these guys were playing here, right?
Yeah, we played Arch Street many
like
many
in the
times.
aughts and stuff like that,
when
right?
when they
Like
were
early
first
2000s
doing
and
stuff, you know, when Arch Street was Nectar's Presents.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah.
era.
Wow.
And then, you know, everybody was playing the Hartford Room, the hot dog place.
Yes, sir.
That was like that was pretty long time ago.
Yes, sir.
And
I'm pretty sure I booked you there at least once.
yeah.
Or
The hot dog room, dude.
Everybody got stiffed at the hot dog room.
oh, then that wasn't me that booked you. That was the other guy.
But no, I mean, it literally goes like all the way back, I think.
I really
You know,
do think
because
so,
we
man.
can't even remember the
origin
point
of-
of combustion
I
there.
know.
But yeah, I remember maybe we played some gigs like I don't know, like around like just somewhere.
Dude, was there any time that you guys played on campus at UHeart?
Because
No.
Nick was UConn, and that's like
Yeah.
where we started. It was
Okay.
like Nick started playing drums, and he was like wanted to start a band, and he basically recruited me for his band. And was like, hey, him and his friend Caleb, who used to play bass with us, they started the band, and I just happened to be like, oh, my brother plays guitar. Can you play guitar for us?
Got it.
And
Wow.
so I'm still just in Nick's band.
See, this whole time I thought you guys just like woke up one morning, you know, you shared a room or something as kids, and you woke up one morning, we're just like, we should start a band.
No, totally. I had started playing before Nick did,
Yeah.
and then Nick, I like went off and had my own bands and was doing my stuff, and then Nick basically would come and like roadie for the shows and just hang out.
Right.
And he got chummy with my drummer, and they kind of hit it off. And I think he just was like, if I play something, I want to play drums. You know, you'd have to ask him what exactly he thought. But he chose drums, started drumming on his own, separate from me.
Right.
And then we both, like, I was living in Boston and Atlanta and other places, and we both kind of like ended up in Connecticut again at the same time, 2010-ish. And we were like, oh, he was playing in another band, I was playing in other bands, and then we finally were like, wait a minute.
What are we doing here?
We just, and then he asked me to join his band. He was like, I'm starting this thing, three-wheeled funk circus.
Right.
Dude, that throws me back. Like, I haven't heard that band name in a while because it's always just been Balkun Brothers.
Well,
in my memory.
it was both actually.
Okay.
We did Three-Wheeled Funk Circus, and then we were like, oh, but we could start a blues band too. So
Got it.
it was Balkun Brothers Blues Band.
Oh.
And then everybody kept getting confused, and everyone still gets confused. We peddle confusion.
Yeah.
which is you know, it's what I'm trying to do. But
Right.
Yeah, man.
but everyone was like, which band are we booking? Because it was the same exact lineup, but we would sort of play like more funk or more blues, and then we just shortened it to Balkun Brothers,
Right.
because that's what we are.
And then
Right.
you played whatever the fuck.
And then we played that. Yeah, it kind of opened it up to whatever that is.
And by the way, for anyone listening that hasn't heard the Balkun Brothers, they're just like a power duo at this time.
At this point, yeah.
And then sometimes they'll have sax, right? Tommy Weeks on
Tommy
sax.
Weeks, yeah.
But it is, I mean, you close your eyes and you feel like you're listening to an entire band when you go see them
You
live.
guys are the tightest power trio I've ever heard of.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
Yeah.
I don't think if you had a bass player, I don't think it would be as tight as you playing in full-
a bass player slips a little.
Well, so let's tell the audience what we're talking about here, because I don't think everyone might know. Tell them about like your unique setup, because I haven't seen anyone kind of do the duo thing the way you specifically set it up, and like you even build your own guitars to suit this endeavor. So kind of give me a rundown of that.
Yeah, well, we can plug Balkun Guitars.
Yes.
This next comment is
Great work, great work.
Is brought to you by Balkun Guitars. Here we go. The mic. So anyway, we're just two people, so we have to cover a lot of sonic sound and want to sound big and full. So I'm also a luthier by trade, which is somebody that builds stringed instruments.
That's good.
My expertise is guitars and basses. And I built this thing called the baritone guitar, which is basically in between a regular guitar and a bass. I've equipped it with guitar electronics and bass electronics. 2 outputs. It goes to a guitar amp and a bass amp. There's some thumb work happening in there, and basically you get essentially a guitar signal and a bass signal. And I try to do both of them at the same time.
And certain strings are going one.
So the low strings are going to the bass amp. Lots of bass, lots of low end, sub octave stuff.
Yep.
And then the guitar rig is going through a Marshall stack, and it's cranked up. And the bass is also a Marshall stack, but it's a bass stack. But anyway, big amps, loud drums, big riffs and grooves, and it's just like, it's just rock and roll. It's just crank it up, rock and roll. But it is a way to make a big full band sound with just 2 dudes. And
until you're like there live to see it for yourself, it's like, I mean, like I'll say it again. You close your eyes and you just feel like there's a whole band on stage.
Well, I do put, I'm a guitar player. I started playing guitar. That's how I approach things. But I have a huge respect for the bass, for the low end, and like big Chili Peppers fan, always have been. So how could you not like bass? Bands like Primus, Rage Against the Machine. Even if you think about Zeppelin and Sabbath, and just like these big unison riffs that were like the bass and the guitar equally making that giant rhythm. It's kind of the idea. And it's a conscious decision to like work on the bass side of things, even being a guitar player, but like not ignoring the bass at all. The bass is not secondary. It's like equally. So when people tell me, they're like, "Oh, you don't have a bass player. Why don't you have a bass player? What's going on with the bass? Why don't you have a bass player?" It's like, were you not there hearing all of the bass? Like my bass rig at this point is literally bigger and more powerful than my guitar rig, and if
as a guitar player, it's got to be tough, like to swallow that.
I love playing bass. I almost am like a guitar player that wants to play bass. Like I approach, and that's where the baritone guitar comes in. It's like the first time I picked one of those up, it was a light bulb moment. We're like, oh, I'm a baritone guitar player. I should have been doing this the whole time. Like this.
I was gonna ask, like, who is your, like, for that specific stuff that you're talking about, like. It's almost like there's no one that you can reference and draw from.
It's few and far between. I mean, you have like guys like Charlie Hunter. Who he's doing it in a whole different way, but
super very different from how you guys are doing it. But
similar idea though, as far as even
combining
just
the instruments kind of thing.
Covering both things. Honestly, there was also a band in the '90s called Local H. Remember those guys?
No.
He if you heard some of their songs, you would know.
Okay.
But he had a Strat that he put like half a bass pickup in on the low strings and ran it to a bass amp. So I kind of took that idea from both of them and like
borrowing some of that stuff.
Designed my own thing there, and then applied it to like heavy riff and rock. And then there's also like. Even just the way, like, we're talking Chili Peppers night now, but the way that John Frusciante plays guitar, big influence on me. But, like, if you listen to his guitar playing, it's very sort of, like, minimalistic, rhythmic. And if you play that kind of way, it almost lends itself to,
leaves little bits of space to work the bass part in.
Right, plays with his thumb a lot, plays those kind of, like... obviously he can shred, but like his chordal work and the rhythmic work being a big part of that, and so
you could still there are some players that you could still like draw from.
I mean, I'm still.
It's not like you had like zero reference point like going into this.
Yeah, it is a definitely a area of exploration, I'd say, where it's like, okay, we're gonna do something that not a ton of people are. Digging down,
figuring out tried and true methods of doing
it. But at the same time, I'm still like, we could still play Zeppelin if we want, and I'll just play Zeppelin and like try to figure it out, or like I'm still drawing from all of that stuff, but also like
I'll listen to guys like Les Claypool and like try to play guitar like Les Claypool plays bass,
right? Yeah.
You know, or something like that.
Which I definitely think is going towards the guitar thing too.
Totally, he's the lead instrument in that, which is sort of like how Flea does it too, where it's like he's kind of the lead instrument.
Yeah, and like John's holding the constant down.
Right, we're holding the rhythm, and it becomes this thing where like because there's only two of us, I'll get my lead lines in there, but like I'm almost on this trip where, all right, everybody plays lead guitar. Let's make it more about the rhythm.
Right.
Like we're just a big loud rhythm section. Yeah, which that's all people just want to dance anyway. People just want to groove anyway. And then I'll also say that bands like The Doors, no bass player, Ray Manzarek was covering, and so keyboard players and organ players, they're a big influence where it's like, well, why can't the guitar do that? The organ players, how many organ trios do you see now where there's no bass player and they're doing organ bass? It's the same idea where it's like just cover the bass. You know, I always think of it as like, especially when people bring up like you don't have a bass player. It's like, well, bass is a harmonic register, right?
Right.
It's not an instrument. Yeah, it's not a dude. It's not an instrument. There's a bass guitar. There is no bass guitar. I'm not saying like you, but you are. No, like you're playing.
I love to see myself.
Yeah, you're playing. I have zero against bass players. Honestly, I'm more and more influenced by bass players too. If we're gonna go in influence, but like, but it is that idea where it's like you're covering a frequency spectrum rather than like what another musician is adding. And when you add other musicians to an arrangement, that makes the arrangement something. And when you take those musicians away, that makes the arrangement something else. And so that's what it comes down to, is like, okay, we're just arranging for two people and what we can do with our four limbs, you know.
And I feel like you can do more than people think with that. Like you're saying, it's like you can cover the low end that you need to make it.
I mean, you know, you think of like what's the most popular thing that happens now that people go out to see? It's like a DJ. They're covering everything, and that's acceptable. And there's more and more of that where it's like, you know, you can fill out the sound with all kinds of stuff now.
Paulie and I went to go see, I don't know if any of you guys have heard of McGee, but Paulie and I went to go see McGee last night, and that's who we were talking about earlier. He does not a split signal deal, but he plays, like, he finger picks a baritone guitar and is playing bass with his thumb a lot.
Totally.
And also the setup is him on a baritone guitar, another guy with a regular 6-string guitar, and then what I guess I would refer to as a drummer who is doing a crazy combination of like looping shit, drum machine shit, and like some like tracks and playback stuff. But the guy just has this massive station, and it's like a rock show in its own way. Like, but yeah.
Dude, I saw some pictures from that show. It looked packed.
He's blowing up.
Yeah.
It was at Toads. He's way too big for Toads. He has this week in New York City, he has Terminal 5 and Brooklyn Paramount sold out.
Wow.
And then somehow Toads Place in New Haven, just random Tuesday.
They booked like a year and a half ago or something. And like
Toads is a legendary spot, though. Like, I'll give you the full explanation as to why that show is at Toads.
Okay.
On camera. There's a reason.
I gotta check that out now, though. You know?
Yeah, you should check them out. Yeah, cool records, cool sound.
It kind of makes me think of like, you know, like just the concept of like when you remove options, you're forced to be more creative.
Yeah.
Like think about like in the studio, for example, like when you like remove all of this equipment and all these different options, like it actually forces you to just dive deeper into your creativity. I feel like that's like what you guys are forced to do. You have like 2 paintbrushes and you have to create an entire
with what we got
thing, right?
Yeah, and it almost, to me, it makes it more interesting now. We're like, we're talking about our origins, like when we had a rhythm section, you know, when we were a power trio or we had other guitar players or horn section or whatever. It, you know, you almost just sort of fall back on what you've already heard, what's already conventional. It's like, okay, power trio.
Right.
There's a million references for that.
Yeah.
And you kind of end up falling into like, okay, we're just going to do the power trio thing.
Yeah.
You take away the bass player, and you
Right.
take away that, you know, like I'm doing a lot of bass with my thumbs, so my hands are restricted. Like the actual like technique of playing is totally different than like when you got a full band and I can kind of just like lay back, not play anything.
Right.
There's always something happening with my fingers. And so the way that like even I'll approach a solo is like, all right, if I had a bass player, I would do a lot of different things, more melodic, more up and down. I choose different, you know, patterns and whatnot. When you don't have that, you choose like simplicity. It's like, okay,
you're restricted.
Yeah, or you choose something else, and it's like, well, yeah, and then it becomes less about the guitar, the extended guitar solo, and more about the rhythm, which for me, I'm like so interested in. Where it's like, how can we be a guitar-driven, like loud rock band that's minimal on guitar solos?
Yeah.
You know, where it's like
very easy to follow along guitar solo.
Yeah, where like the guitar solo really. What I've been discovering, the only parts that are really important is like the beginning and the high note at the end.
Yeah.
And you can literally get away with just like, all right, here's guitar solo time. Back to the rhythm.
Right.
Yeah.
And like everybody still feels the same thing. Like
yeah,
the feeling of you taking their feeling from down here and going all the way up here to the heavens and then dropping them back into the booty shaking riff is like the same.
You got your point across.
You transmuted the feeling, and that's all that you need to do
in an expedited manner.
Yeah, and I'm like, I find that super interesting right now. Which,
well, Steve, you might have to take a long guitar solo or two tonight.
I cannot wait.
Well,
don't get me wrong.
Relish it. You don't have to play the bass, dude.
I love taking me a long guitar solo.
Yeah.
I will do it all night long, but like. Even we were talking a little bit before about like John Frusciante's type of playing. He plays a lot like that, even in essentially a power trio instrumentation. I mean, he can shred, but like you watch some of his stuff and he's just hitting one note like so gnarly, and it's that almost made me puke.
Right.
You know, it's like I felt that.
I love it. Like he definitely can fucking play whatever he feels like it. I like that he chooses to keep it in like a simple, primal, like relatable thing. Like you don't need to know about music to get what is happening right now. It's face value.
Yeah.
And it's not like a matter of ignorance or inability to play sophisticated shit. It's like that's not the point right now. It's like about conveying this feeling, you know. And he's super good at that.
Transmuting the feeling.
At whatever bullshit notes he's working with, he's going to give you the feeling with those notes, or whatever sound is coming out, and it's just like it doesn't have to be steeped in like sophistication or method or whatever like that. It can just be like, I'm making a bunch of fucking noise to make you feel like this right now.
I mean, the majority of the people that come up to enjoy music are not going to know that you just played like some like transient uber like sophisticated modal and like million chords behind it, or like what inversion of that chord and you know
like
structure that you played. Some people, all right, that's cool. That's great too. It's good for the brain, and if that transmutes the feeling that you have, that's okay. But like also, I think about this quote a lot that I heard John Frusciante say, since we're on a Chili Pepper theme here.
By the way, before you go into that, one of the questions I was going to ask you was like, in the Chili Peppers lens, are you Team Navarro or Frusciante? I think I know the answer.
Well, I will say,
spoof the fight tonight?
I do love One Hot Minute. It was the first Chili Peppers I ever heard when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So I do have.
It's a killer album.
I love it. It's one of my favorites. But John Frusciante, way up there.
For sure.
But anyhow, there's this one clip of him talking about playing, and he's like, you have to remember sometimes to play with your middle finger. And not like physically, but like emotionally, like, and then he references Jimi Hendrix Machine Gun. You know that first?
Chorus.
That first.
Like the
and
beginning
he's
solo
just
one
like
note
that
for a
is
long
just
time.
Jimi Hendrix giving the middle finger to everyone, you know.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
and I love that. That always sticks in my head. Is like,
Yeah.
it's like, all right, you want people to enjoy themselves, and you want to like work well with your musicians, and like have a good time and whatnot. But like sometimes rock and roll is just like, fuck you, you know.
It's like catharsis.
Yeah,
you know,
and
let
sometimes
it
you
out.
don't even care. Like, who cares what note it is? Who cares what key it is? It's just like this is the pure feeling of expression coming through, and it doesn't even,
Nothing
know.
can touch that. Man.
yeah.
Yeah.
So if you work with that as the basis, I don't even know how we got here, but
Well, so when is your show again?
November 15th, I believe.
Do you guys want to see him play with his middle finger? Get
All
your
right.
ass out here. November 15th, man.
We'll be throwing it down.
Okay, well, I know we got to go play soon. What else is going on in your life? And you just had a kid.
Just had a son, little
Yes.
Stevie.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
That's awesome.
Yep, and I have a daughter as well.
Mm-hmm.
She's amazing. So just doing lots of dad,
Dad
lots
stuff.
of dad,
Awesome.
brewing the next generation of Balkans.
Balkan siblings.
Yeah, Balkan siblings.
brothers.
Yeah.
The
Balkan.
Balkan family.
Balkan
band.
The Balkan family, we're
band.
taking them on the road. My daughter was like, I told her she's very, very well aware of the Chili Peppers.
Oh.
And, oh yeah, no,
Excellent.
she's anyway, she's well versed already. She's like, where are you going? Like, we're gonna play some Chili Peppers tonight. She's like, I'm coming with you. In fact, we took her to a Chili Peppers show.
Oh.
It was sort of by accident, but they played at Sound on Sound in Bridgeport.
Uh-huh.
And we were going to go. Babysitting fell through. And then I looked it up and it was like, kids under 2 free. So her first concert was the Chili Peppers.
Dude, that's awesome.
I'm jealous.
Like full on moshing. She knew
Had to wait
that she
till
was
I
at a
was
Chili
31.
Peppers show. Like yeah, and she was. I have proof, but she after Danny California, like shredding Frusciante solo, she
Yeah.
goes, she's clapping. Yeah, John Frusciante.
Wow, dude.
That's a tough one to
Yeah, no,
pronounce
we're-
too, you know?
Actually, see, she says it Shashante. John
So
Shashante.
cute.
But anyway, yeah, just had a kid, doing lots of dadding, running Balkan Guitars workshop.
You guys have you ever gotten your guitar work done?
Yeah.
Before?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Have you?
yeah, man.
Yep.
I need to because I don't have anybody right now.
Come
so
on down.
I will.
Yeah.
Come on up.
I
Dude,
will.
he's like setting up like everyone in the scene's guitars right now.
All of West End blends.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. It kind of all goes through one place. you know?
Everybody, yeah. Come
Yeah.
on down.
Well, dude, I mean, we are so stoked to have you on. It's been way too long.
Thank you for having me. This is the perfect opportunity.
And honestly, I want to say too, Billy, you've been kind of off to the end over there. So sorry for.
Oh, it's all
we're
good.
talking guitars and shit over here.
I like guitars.
We're stoked to have you back on stage.
Thanks,
Booyah,
man.
too,
I think it's
dude.
been since June,
I was gonna
Damn.
say.
That's
which
a
is
while.
probably the
That
longest
was
gap.
yesterday, I think?
Yeah, June. Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah, it was
in
the
June,
last week,
yeah.
I think.
The last, yeah, it's been
Last day of
it's been a
summer.
minute.
Last day of summer.
I'm stoked to be here. This is one of my favorite themes, and super fun. Share some of the lead vocals with Bufundo. Also do all of the fun ass John Frusciante.
I was gonna say,
falsetto backup
don't discount
vocals.
those background vocals.
No, that's what I'm here for. I'm
Seriously.
here to party and have a good time and sing John Frusciante's fucking. Ah!
Honestly, I feel like, and this circles back to you saying like that was one of the cleanest sound checks in history, and I think the reason why is everyone in this room is cut from the Red Hot Chili Peppers cloth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like literally, like I know you are for sure. You are obviously,
Very much.
and me and you listen, we're
we've been
like
sending
shedding to
stuff-
them
yeah.
in my basement as a kid.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and then you are like total Chili Peppers fan. So like
Definitely my
it's like,
favorite band.
Well, let's give the bass player a little. Those you were nailing it.
Yeah, you were
dude.
murdering
nailed-
that.
Yeah,
Very
yeah,
first-
you cannot do Chili Peppers without the
Yeah.
without the bass.
Yeah.
Man.
This
You
is-
cannot do it.
this is like
so much weight is on the bass player for
this
these
is
things.
how long is this? Is probably like 16 years in the making. Of me shedding this stuff for like that long. So yeah, it's
It is like it is like when you're like in high school. Like I definitely
Yeah.
like was like I don't know, loved the Chili Peppers and was in bands in high school and shit. Oh man, it'd be fucking sick to like play all this music like, on stage at some point. That it's like, oh, this happens.
And then,
and
then to find
it.
people that can actually that know all the parts and can hang. It's like it's hard to get that all together, and that's
it's
awesome.
We managed to, sub out some pieces that maybe didn't care about the Chili Peppers as much,
Well, listen.
No Jesse Combs, specifically.
Hey, have you guys seen Jesse lately?
Jesse?
Yeah.
I'm aware of what happened to Jesse, yeah.
What? Is he okay?
I haven't seen Jesse in a while.
His head.
Oh, yeah. Jesse shaking his head. No, he's not okay.
Yeah, he's getting buzzed all his hair out.
Whoa.
It's alright.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
listen.
If you guys...
Do it with him?
We've been talking the show up a lot.
Yeah.
We're just going to fucking rock tonight. Let's have a great show.
Rock and roll.
If you guys are listening to this and you weren't at this show, shame. But the next time we do one, you got to come. But also just come out any Wednesday. As the sign says, every Wednesday, Art Street Tavern.
Well, I just want to show everybody because nobody's going to see it.
Oh, yeah.
I'll get that up in the
have-
shot.
Oh
my God!
The Chili's
I have
tube
Chili Pepper
socks.
Socks on.
Hell yeah.
Socks on.
I have 3 of them on it.
All right, well,
sell
that's
them
a great way to wrap this up. That's been the...
They don't come in pairs.
They sell one a piece.
That's how it goes.
Well, that's been another episode of Booyah Podcast. See you next week.
Rock and roll.